guys, welcome back to another Stay Fresh exclusive. This evening, it is my distinct pleasure to bring you guys my top 10 fragrance list for the fall. These are the fragrances that will be in my rotation for the fall, and I cannot stress that enough. This is my rotation. These are the fragrances that I like. They work on my skin. They garner compliments in my social circle. So it's a very loose recommendation. If anything, you guys have probably heard of all of these fragrances. Maybe some of you who are just kind of getting in may not have, so hopefully this will give you a few things to look at if you're looking for some new ones. So we're gonna jump right into it. I got two honorable mentions that I want to throw out there. The first one is one that a lot of you definitely already know. I don't even really need to explain it. This is Dior Sauvage. And the only reason why this is an honorable mention is because I don't really consider it a fall fragrance. It does not embody the fall for me. It's very versatile. So you could wear it at any time, but if I'm looking to smell like fall, that is not this fragrance. So that's my first honorable mention. Second honorable mention, I don't have a full bottle of, and that's going to be Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum concentration. Definitely more of a cold weather fragrance than the EDT version. It's a beautiful fragrance. They bumped up the incense and toned down some of the citrus in there, so it's a little bit richer, and it definitely suits the colder weather a little bit more. But also, same with Dior Sauvage, it does not really embody the fall to me. It's very versatile, but I think it actually, for my personal taste, it does better in other seasons. So those are my two honorable mentions. We're gonna jump right into the list. Number 10 on my list. I smelled this at Sephora months ago by recommendation of one of the sales associates, and this was the first time that I was ever recommended something, and I loved it immediately. So I got a sample, used that for a while, and then just decided to pick up a bottle. This is Giovanni's Gentlemen Only. Beautiful fragrance. This is a big boy. This is like, I think 125, 150 mil. I really don't need this much. I might end up decanting this out or selling it and getting a smaller bottle. I bought it because a guy in a fragrance group was selling it at a very, very good price, so I had to pick it up. This fragrance contains a lot of really beautiful elements to it. You got some incense in there, some nutmeg. It's definitely woodsy. I think there's some cedar in there, and also there's some freshness too, which I think comes from some vetiver, which is in this one. Givenchy Gentlemen Only. Next, number 9 on my list. Once again, no stranger to those who are familiar with designer fragrances. This is going to be Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Small little 50 ml bottle compared to this guy here. Beautiful fragrance. This one is a compliment getter, I gotta say. You got some tonka bean in there, which makes it a little creamy. You got a little bit of the citrus from the mandarin orange, but the tonka bean definitely kind of eases that out, so it's not sharp at all, which does also make this one fairly versatile. You can wear it in the spring and the summer, but it also works in the cooler weather. It has some sandalwood, which adds to some creaminess and a little bit of freshness as well. There's definitely some floral elements to it. I think there's some sage. I get that at the top, and that doesn't last very long for me. Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Keep going here, number 8. This is a cheapie. This is one that you guys could find no problem on eBay or wherever your online retailer preference is. I wouldn't say it's underrated. People are starting to pick this up now. This is Lanvin's Avant Garde. Beautiful bottle. Love this blue stripe down the middle. This one, it reminds me of another fragrance, which I'll get to later, but it is of its own. It really is. In this one, there's some honey, some honeycomb, and then that you get right off the top here. There's definitely a little bit of tobacco, I think, near the base of this. There's some slight ginger in there, and just a little bit of citrus. Some grapefruit that comes and goes very quickly. From the first application, it's gone in about 20 minutes maybe. This one is great. It doesn't last terribly long. I probably get 5-6 hours of complete longevity out of this one, but it gets the job done. If I'm going to be somewhere for just a few hours at night, this is definitely an evening fragrance. I throw this bad boy on. That's Lanvin's Avant Garde. All right, coming in at number 7, another very popular one. It's getting more popular by the minute, I swear, and it's for a reason. There's not much to say about this one because you probably already know. Dolce & Gabbana is the one. Beautiful amber tobacco. There's even some grapefruit in there. You get, when you really apply it, if you go heavy on the trigger with this one, and that is okay with this one because it does not last long, you really get that sense of that fruitiness that's in here. It is, again, it's like a grapefruit, but I really get more of a very, it's so elegant. It's more of an elegant amber tobacco. The grapefruit doesn't jump out to me all that much unless I really over apply. That is Dolce & Gabbana's the one. Moving on. This is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, and I have to say, this is probably the fragrance that hooked me into the game here. I fell in love with this at first sniff. It was so elegant to me. I never smelled anything like it. I had smelled a whole lot of fragrances to begin with, but this really stood out to me. I smelled it at Macy's. I had to buy it immediately. I probably shouldn't have. I could have got it cheaper online, but I had to get it. This is Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme. This is a classic. This is a gentleman's classic. You must have this in your collection. You get ginger, you get a little bit of apple in there. At least I do. It's kind of this apple, very, not very sweet apple, but there's this apple vibe to it. It's kind of spicy. There's definitely a little bit of tonka bean, which makes it a little bit creamy, and definitely some freshness. I think there's some vetiver at the base of this one. YSL's L'Homme. We're getting into the big boys now. Brace yourself, guys. These are the ones you gotta look out for. All these have been great, but this is gonna be the top of my rotation here. Also forgot to mention, L'Homme is my scent of the day. Just thought I'd mention that. Moving on. Number 5, another cheapie. This one has also become wildly popular among the fragrance community due to a number of reviewers who have been throwing it on their top lists time and time again. One of them is Jeremy, who I'm sure you've probably already found by now. Not much to say about this. Mont Blanc Individuel. This was my scent of the day yesterday, all day. I wore it all day, I wore it all night. A lot of notes to this one, which you would think would make it very complex. At least, you know, with all those notes, it should smell slightly different on everyone, and it probably does. I haven't smelled it on a lot of other people, but what I get out of this, kind of a fabric softener, but it's fresh, and there's like a fruitiness, like a tart, like a raspberryness. It's sweet. But when it dries down, it stays pretty lineal throughout the fragrance for me, but towards the dry down, the sandalwood comes out, and it's just this creamy, beautiful sandalwood. And I never get tired of this thing. This is Mont Blanc Individuel. Again, another cheapie. You can find it for under $30, so check it out. Moving on, number 4. This is a beast. This one is a beast. No other way to put it. I just picked this up maybe about a month ago after having a little splash bottle, which I didn't even finish because I hate splash bottles. I didn't know it was a splash bottle that I bought until it came in. I used a little bit of it and decided, okay, I just need to get a bottle. Very elegant fragrance. This is definitely a going out fragrance. It's beast mode, so you got to be careful with this one. It is very strong. Armani Code, Profumo. again, amber notes in this one. You get a little bit of tonka bean. There's some cardamom in here as well. And there's definitely leather at the base, which makes itself known towards the end of the life of this fragrance. This one lasts 12 plus hours on my skin and projects like a beast for the first 3 to 4 hours. If you're going out, you can go to the bar, to the club, maybe just to dinner with some friends. When the air is a little bit cooler, throw this on. You won't have to worry about a thing. It will do its job all by itself. Armani code Profumo. This is what I would definitely call a workhorse, and I do not coin that term for myself. It's something I heard Cody, aka Drac Doc, use. And when I got this scent and smelled it, I had to immediately adopt it in the same way for myself, because it really is. This is Boss Bottled Intense. This thing is only number 3, but I probably use this the most simply because it's so versatile. I can wear this in any situation during the fall, whether I'm just going to class, whether I'm just gonna go run and get some groceries, or if I have a performance. I'm a musician, so if I have a gig, I'll throw this on, and I know it's gonna last all day, and it's gonna project, and it's gonna smell pleasant to those around me. Boss Bottled Intense. I get kind of this is definitely has some apple in it for sure. There's some apple in here. Vanilla it screams vanilla. There's a little bit of cinnamon as well. Those are the 3 main notes, I would say. Towards the bottom of the fragrance, you get some sandalwood, which again brings this creaminess to it. Very beautiful fragrance. Boss Bottled Intense. Top 2. Let's come to this. This is another classic, another popular one. This probably tops most people's lists. And it could top mine. It could probably go back and forth, but this is one that you gotta have. At least smell it. La Nuit de l'Homme, Yves Saint Laurent. This one, just it's sensual, alluring. You just smell like you know what you're doing when the night comes. That's all I can say about this one. I got lucky with this. I know there's all these reformulations with this one, and I got really lucky. I found the 2013 bottle at a very good price. So if you look, you can find them out there. So my particular formulation here lasts me 8 plus hours and projects well for the first 2-3 hours. La Nuit de l'Homme, I'll probably be wearing this tonight, to be honest. L'Homme was my scent of the day. This will be my scent of the night. They layer pretty well, and L'Homme is already fading anyway. Again, it lasts maybe 5-6 hours. So, and throw this on, I'll be good for the evening. Okay, are you guys ready for this? What's gonna be my number 1? I haven't been here long enough, so I don't think anybody could really know my taste. I'm still figuring that out myself. So this might come as a surprise, it might not, but I love this fragrance. I haven't had it for very long, but I know that I'm going to get a lot of use out of it when the sun goes down. And this will carry into the winter as well. A lot of these I will be using for the winter. Not Giovanni. This will probably go back in the box. But the other ones, as well as the Chanel. Chanel may not see the light of day for a while once the snow comes down. But the rest of these will be good to go. My number 1 pick for my top 10 fall fragrance list. Karolina Herrera, CH Men Privé. This thing is dangerous. Smells, again, alluring, very inviting. There's some booziness to it. Definitely some tonka bean in there. It's kind of creamy. Cardamom is in there, which is also in La Nuit, which is also in Avant-Garde. And also, there's definitely some leather, for sure. The leather and the tonka and the booziness of this fragrance really make it very manly, very masculine, but very not so in your face. It's not very aggressive, at least if you don't go heavy on the trigger. This, I gotta smell it. Excuse me. Yes. Not to mention the bottle's awesome, but I would have to say it's going to sound kind of abstract, and you'll probably know when you smell it. the way that this smells is the way that the bottle looks. They work well together. So all around great design on this fragrance. That's Karolina Herrera's CH Man Privé. Well, that does it for me, guys. That's my top 10 list for the fall. This is what I'll be wearing. Please let me know in the comments what you think of the list, what you'll be wearing this fall. I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear any suggestions you might have. Now, you probably noticed that all of these fragrances are designer fragrances. So this is my designer list. I'm not saying I'm going to have a niche list, because I don't really have niche fragrances right now. I'm a graduate student. I don't have a ton of money to spend on a bottle of cologne. Max I'll spend is maybe 60 bucks. That's the max I spend on any of these, to be honest. I have a couple of samples of some niche that I might end up getting 4 bottles of as soon as I can afford them, and those might work their way into what might become a niche list. But that may not even come till the winter. We'll see about that. Either way, stay tuned. I'll be having other variants of fragrance lists to compile with other elements and other categories. So I look forward to bringing you guys that content. In the meantime, thank you so much for checking out this video and this list. Make sure you subscribe for more content. It will be coming soon. I'll be trying to upload as often as I can, every few days or so. Trying to just bump it out until I can boost my channel up a little bit more. Once again, I'm helping you stay fresh. All of this is going to keep you fresh. Regardless, stay fresh. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.